Here we go.
What?
What's that smell? I mean, it smells good. Is that you?
Probably not.
Oh. Okay. I didn't notice till you came in.
They probably cleaned.
They didn't clean here.
Might be me. I wash my hands.
You use that fancy soap?
Downstairs, yeah. In the sales bathroom?
That's what it is.
Yep.
Okay, there we go.
Hell yeah.
There we go. Fantastic.
We can't use any other bathroom.
Yeah, you can.
Where?
The ones upstairs work.
Really?
Yeah.
I wish they would have told me that.
Like the toilets work. I don't know if all the features are.
Okay.
But the toilets work.
Because I had to go to the bathroom one day, and all the bathrooms were messed up, so I just went to Target. So I had to call Sharanda one day, and I was like, yo, what bathroom works so I don't have to go to Target again?
Hey, folks. That's our pre-show preamble, I guess, of Press Play tonight. We're the News 19 Nerds. I'm Michael.
I'm Leroy, and we're talking about renovations at work.
Yeah.
So they renovated all the bathrooms and all the break room spaces.
Mm-hmm.
I have a problem that they did it all at once. Or it wasn't coordinated which bathrooms we could use.
I think it started off that way, and then as it went on, they're kind of just like, you'll figure it out.
It did seem to be that way, because
Yeah.
I was like, I need to go, and I don't know where I can go.
Mm-hmm.
And with COVID, I was like, you know what? Target's right across the street, and I need to pick up some things.
And I need to pick up stuff over there. All right, fair enough.
So I went across the street. How you guys doing today? How you guys and gals doing?
Fair enough. Look at that, as I get on our stuff.
What was that for?
Well, because, I got bad eyesight, so I can't necessarily see the chat from there all the time. So I look at my phone because it's closer to me.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's because you old.
I'm getting old. I went home earlier this week because my back was killing me. So, yeah, getting old.
Sure, it was the back killing you.
I mean, back in the tum-tum. Sure that wasn't helping. But they don't care about any of this foolishness. We're talking about HBO Max, in particular AT&T spinning off part of Warner Media.
We're not just talking about HBO Max. We're talking about AT&T Warner Media / Discovery.
Great, you talk about that because I haven't eaten all day. I'm eating me some pizza.
Don't worry, you could be jumping in on this. What's up, people? Zayla Naru, Brian Gamer, Breck Warren, IMAX. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing. Zayla Naru said broke a tooth on Wednesday, but got my PS5 on Thursday. That sounds like a win to me.
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I don't know how much he values his teeth.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I could lose a tooth to get a PS5.
Fair enough. Okay. Not mad at. So, do you know the whole backstory behind this?
Yeah.
Because it's like the news broke Monday, but this has been really years in the making under old regimes of when people were saying, you really shouldn't invest in this streaming stuff. It's not going to work out. And the guy was like, it will. He's like, oh, maybe it won't.
See, this is where, this is the reason why I wanted to get into this, because to me, this is an ultimate shift. Mm-hmm. And it answers so many questions. But it also shows the arrogance of businesses to think the arrogance of what AT&T did. Mm-hmm. I am not one of those people who were like, we should have seen it coming. But I'm glad this happened for a number of reasons. And we're going to get into it because I feel like AT&T deserves this. They deserve this loss of money.
So,
for Warner Media spinning off.
What's the history?
So, the history is AT&T. Hold on, I'm trying to get the actual date when they bought.
Warner?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I couldn't tell you that exactly.
Hold on. I wish I had the article that I sent you because it had all of the.
Is it on your phone?
Nah, it's.
Oh, but it's probably on my phone, right?
Yeah.
Did you send it to me?
Because I don't have my work phone on my work email on my phone. Hold on. So anyway, here's the deal. AT&T bought Warner Media. They bought it for close to $100 million.
Million or billion?
Billion, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought I said B. So they spent a good bit amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're spinning off Warner Media to Discovery for 43 billion.
Yep.
With some debt or they take as well. But the thing is, you're only getting $43 billion out of this when you spent $100 billion. And let's not talk about the lawyers' fees that it took to get that deal done. Because remember, they fought the entire Trump administration and U.S. government to get this deal done.
For antitrust stuff, yeah.
Yep. So we found this out Monday. We know that the two CEOs of each company were silently working on this deal. And
CEOs of
Discovery and Warner Media.
Right.
David Zaslav and hold on, I'm trying to get this other guy's name because it's because Zaslav is going to take over. Discovery CEO David Zaslav mentioned they did an interview with CNN when this first broke. Mm-hmm. And basically they were like all chummy. They were like, hey, this is going to be great. Zaslav kept dropping the properties that HBO Max owns.
Yeah.
Where it comes to he name dropped Batman, he name dropped Game of Thrones, saying that, and unlike other streaming services, they're not going to drop off. You don't have to worry about it. We're going to develop these properties. One of the things that was interesting about this deal is it came out Monday. Mm-hmm. There is things that are being announced that Warner Media is going to be making as soon as this deal dropped. Sure. So it was almost like, hey, here's the deal. It's not going to change for you. You're also going to get paired with all this other great stuff that Discovery's doing.
Right.
AT&T is going to get to keep doing their thing.
Right.
Which is great for them, but screw you, AT&T, because I know what you were doing and we caught you, and I'm glad this is happening to you. Because AT&T was one of the people trying to destroy net neutrality for this very reason, because they owned Warner Media.
Right.
Because they were hoping that if we bought Warner Media, we had in-house studios, so we could push Warner Media on all of our products, and then we could run the streaming wars, win the streaming wars, we could run this.
Right.
Then COVID happened. And they realized, oh, it's hard to run a media empire and a telecom service.
And on top of all the debt they were accruing, it does make you think what would have happened had COVID not, if COVID wasn't a thing, if they were able to reduce that debt. Because a lot of streaming companies, we know, Netflix is always reportedly in debt. They continue to make stuff, so I still don't know how their share prices are going up.
There was a video that says how Netflix makes money. I don't know how, but
it's through like customer data and aggregation, all that kind of stuff. But still, they continue getting debt. But to me, what does this mean for the consumer? Is this good in the long run? Or do we know if Discovery Plus is going to join HBO Max yet? Has that been decided?
So they haven't. So when they did the CNN interview, I think it was Poppy Harlow who did the interview. I could be wrong. It was a 15-minute interview. She did a pretty good job. She asked some kind of hard questions. The whole idea is that Warner Media is going to spin off with Discovery to form a new company. As it stands right now, the deal isn't set. The deal isn't set to be done for at least a year or two. So the deal supposedly isn't going to be final until 2022, maybe 2023. So as it stands right now, none of the stuff that we use, if you use Discovery Plus or if you use HBO Max, is going to change for you. They still have to get the deal done. Right now, THR reports AT&T could owe Discovery Media $1.7 billion if Warner Media merger is scuttled. So in other words, Discovery would owe AT&T $720 million if it backs out of the deal. But if the deal is scuttled, so they have put in things, what's the word I'm looking for? Conditions.
Clauses and all
clauses.
That stuff. Yeah.
But also, if the deal doesn't get done, AT&T has said, we will look for other partners if Discovery Media if this does not happen.
I like a world where I guess I'm just House of Mouse, right? Give it to Disney.
No, I don't want to.
I want it to go to Disney.
Don't. I don't. As much as I love that Disney got back the X-Men and all the characters it originally owned, I don't like the House of Mouse owning as much as they do.
Sure.
Ryan Porter question, what do any of you watch on Discovery? Here's the thing. I thought Discovery was a joke.
I don't care about Discovery, but Discovery owns Food Network. I love Food
Let
Network.
me tell you what Discovery owns.
That's why I care.
Let me tell you what Discovery owns. The Food Network, HGTV. All of those shows make money. And they make money because they're cheap to make. And the empires that they have on Discovery Media, they're starting to get into more scripted programming. You want to know what people watch? That even though we may not watch it, it may not be stuff that be reported on for nerd stuff. Guess what they make? Love It or List It.
Sure.
Property Brothers. You name stuff on Food Network.
I'm pretty sure Chip and Joanna probably have a couple of different shows
on
Discovery Plus.
The Chip and Joanna Empire.
Yeah.
When they moved and they left and they stopped doing things, they came back with everything that they like. So Hometown, there's a couple in Mississippi. Basically, they do the same thing Chip and Joanna do. They're just one dude's a burly white guy with a beard, and one's a short white lady with the Karen haircut, but she's not a Karen. Okay. They have a show where now they're going to small towns and revitalizing downtown properties. So you want to know the power of Chip and Joanna? Chip and Joanna have made it so that Waco is a destination. Waco is the same size as Columbia, South Carolina, with 100,000 population. They're a college town. But the thing about Chip and Joanna's company is they have changed the property value in Waco so much that it is hard to find a house in there sometimes. Now, they built their entire empire. When I mean empire, go to Target. You can't miss Chip and Joanna's stuff.
Yeah.
They've written books. They've got magazines. All of that is under Discovery Plus.
Right.
Now you take that with Jonathan and Scott with Property Brothers, their shows, HGTV may not be.
Who does like the like International House Hunters? Is that part of Discovery? Probably.
Yep.
That's HG.
All of that.
I do watch HG.
House Hunters, all that stuff. Now, granted, some of that stuff, House Hunters, and some of these things are still live under Hulu. So I'm quite sure there's some deal where a lot of that stuff lives. Some of those older episodes,
maybe like older seasons you might see on Hulu, but new you got to go to.
But let me tell
Plus.
you what, that stuff makes money and it's cheap to make.
Yeah.
And another thing, guess who else was looking at this deal? Universal, Comcast, Peacock. And I'm telling you right now, Zayla Maru, I know you live in Dallas. Go check out some of the stuff that goes on in Waco. They credit Chip and Joanna with changing the property values in that town because of how they've built houses.
Ken from Chicago. So you're not saying Chip and Joanna host Hometown, right?
They in other words, that's part of their empire.
Right. Okay.
All of this is stuff that Chip and Joanna basically. When you learn what Chip and Joanna, how they came about.
Sure.
Oh my gosh. And then you have another couple doing the same thing they're doing. Only difference is they're in Mississippi. And now they're branching out and doing other stuff. That stuff sells. People watch that stuff. And it's cost effective.
Yeah.
So you have that side of it. And what's the one thing HBO Max does not have a lot of? Where it comes to...
like DIY stuff, probably.
Not just DIY stuff. They don't have named properties.
What do you mean?
In other words, like when I say House of Mouse, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Probably Star Wars stuff.
Marvel, Star Wars, yeah. Mickey Mouse. When you say HGTV, Chip and Joanna, Jonathan Scott, Property Brothers, all this stuff comes automatically to your mind because that's stuff people watch. The one streaming service my mother has is this. Discovery.
Okay.
My dad has Netflix. They have HBO, like regular HBO, so they get HBO Max. My mom watches Discovery Plus. When she came to my house, we were like, "Did you order Discovery Plus?"
Nice.
And my wife, we were literally doing the Spider-Man meme.
Yeah.
And then we found out it was my mom because my mom watches this stuff. Guess what else they watch? 90 Day Fiance.
Somebody brought that up in the chat too. Yeah.
That stuff sells and it is cheap to make. Let me tell you how much over they're making 90 Day Fiance. They're taking the people on 90 Day Fiance after their relationships blow up and they're giving them all their own shows on dating. Then they're taking those shows on dating and letting other people from 90 Day Fiancé watch other people date.
Oh, wow.
It's Inception reality TV.
Synergy all over.
That is cheap to make.
Yeah.
So when I say this is why it's a big deal. Is because the combination of these two companies, the reason why this happened was directly in defense or offense to take out or take on Disney and Netflix.
Yeah.
And Ryan Porter, you may not care about this, but let me tell you why you should care about this. Because this allows Warner Media and Discovery both to have this cross-pollination where HBO Max can probably get into more reality television.
Sure.
And then on the flip side, Discovery can get into more scripted shows.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you don't start seeing, you would see like people that were on Game of Thrones, well maybe not now because the show's not on, but whatever that spin-off series is going to be, if you don't see like those characters, like the actors being on like Food Network shows, it's just like, we got a guest in today to do whatever. Like I could see them cross-pollinating actors to be like, to promote all the shows coming up.
Each of these things, the big thing is that, and this is another thing too, for those of us, and maybe I wish John Donuts was here, and O'Keefe Robinson is right. That reality TV crowd is no joke, and they are loyal. We have, I'm going to tell you right now how loyal they are. We had an employee here. We were questioning her about, like, Brian Gamer, that's what I was getting to. Discovery has a footprint overseas. HBO does not. Because of the contracts that they sign, HBO can't do certain things overseas the way Discovery can. Also, Discovery is into sports and news in different countries. We had an employee when we asked, does she know who Barbara Walters is? Did not. She is a journalist. Just graduated from journalism school. Didn't know who she was. Guess who she did know? All the members of Real Housewives, 90 Day Fiancé. That is what I'm telling you. People watch that stuff. And that is going to give this company, if it comes to pass, an influx of people.
Yeah.
Where you may not come for HGTV for us, but you'll definitely turn on and you'll let it watch. And the whole idea is once we get you, is for you to keep it. And yeah, Disney has all the name stuff that we like. But guess what a lot of people do with Disney? They cancel it after
the season, yeah.
Yep. HBO Max is priming themselves to not be canceled.
Yeah, and I think the big question is, are people going to continue to keep the service? Like, what's going to be this new price point for whatever?
It's funny you mentioned that. So HBO Max, or AT&T and HBO Max, announced there is a lower price tier for HBO Max. It's $9.99
With commercials.
With commercials. Oh, and no day and date.
I mean, that one I don't care as much about, only because
you don't, because you care, because you want all the bells
right.
and whistles.
Well, I mean, to me, like that day and date thing is halfway done now.
True, but this is the thing. It may not matter to you because, let's be honest, you're a little bit more established. You're an executive producer here. You have a little bit more money. Anna Grace, she doesn't have HBO Max.
Right.
Somebody who's starting out, that's attractive to them. They just want to watch have HBO, and they don't mind commercials. They don't need the day and date stuff because they don't care about those movies anyway.
Sure.
But guess what? She does watch day and date? Disney. And she watches that stuff. And Brian Gamer says Disney is about to be a non-cancel service too. For some people. Some people only come in, they watch The Mandalorian, and they drop it. They're not... Marvel is trying to get to that point where they have stuff that drops every week. Yeah. Which is why I think they moved Loki from Friday to Wednesday. Because Star Wars is a Friday date. They've already established Star Wars comes out on Friday. So I expect to see them start experimenting with dates and start moving some of that Marvel stuff around.
Sure.
Because Bad Batch comes out on Friday. Mandalorian came out on Friday. When the book of Fett comes out, I bet you it'll come out on Fridays. So that means Marvel has to pick a different day. And then what's going to happen is they're trying to reinvent the wheel and basically have TGI Fridays. Must-see TV Thursdays.
Yeah, there was I think it's overseas. I want to say like in Paris, maybe, or maybe it might just be the whole country of France. But Netflix has kind of almost like a TV schedule in a couple of overseas countries where like this is what you can watch at this time every day or whatever, just to kind of get people back into the habit of having a streaming schedule of must see it, can't miss appointment television. So.
And what another thing is, O'Keefe brings up, well, do you think these streaming services will team up and form bundles to compete with Disney, Hulu, and ESPN? That's what this deal is.
Yeah.
That's what this deal is. HBO Max and Warner Media and Discovery teaming up. That's going to be a bundle. They haven't figured out. Zaslav said he does not know how this is going to shake out. He said that basically we're still in the process of figuring out how we're going to pair this. Because here's the thing. Discovery is in the sports overseas. We're going to start seeing this happen more. Another thing too, the reason why Warner Media or AT&T did not buy Sony or did not make that deal with Sony was because they were working on this deal. Why pair with Sony when Sony can't give you the footprint that Discovery can?
Yeah. To me, I think it would be interesting to see a video game company kind of get into streaming stuff. I feel like Sony does have Crackle, right? Crackle is owned by Sony Entertainment. So you do see a lot of Sony-produced movies go through Crackle. I think that Snatch TV show that had Rupert Grint in it was on there. And I wonder if they're going to start to expand their services more to try to compete with everybody else. Because when you think of streaming services, you don't think of Crackle.
Huh.
No.
Why would I?
But they have a couple of. I think every streaming service probably has at least one or two gems that people just don't know about because they don't get advertised. But it would be interesting to see Sony try and pick up a company like a Warner Media to grow their base. And I wonder if we would get some type of bidding war. People would be like, "That's what Discovery's gonna. We can pay you even more, and we will even offset the cost that you would have to pay Discovery if it doesn't work."
Well, see, this is the thing. That they hope this deal works because that takes some money off of their books, AT&T. And let me tell you why AT&T needs some money and some cash fast. Because COVID did the thing we talked about that we wondered, is it too early for this? Stadia. Stadia doesn't work if you live in rural South Carolina. Right. There's no point of you having it because the internet infrastructure isn't there. We in this country, other countries are different. South Korea has great internet. One, the country's smaller. Two, they have made it a priority to make internet part of their infrastructure.
Yeah.
Japan, India supposedly has great internet service, from what I understand. COVID exposed how broadband is the great equalizer. And AT&T wants to stay competitive with Verizon because it is basically a monopoly between those two. And now you have Amazon getting into the game and Google Fiber. They have to stay competitive, and they cannot do that with an albatross on the books that is Warner Media.
Is Google Fiber available for you? It's not available for me.
No,
I looked at it. It's like it doesn't exist.
I didn't even bother to look, man.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you. My internet sucks with my house.
Yeah.
But it's not just my internet. My power goes out like randomly sometimes. Yeah. But that's why, and I'm not saying Warner Media's an albatross is like it's nothing good about it. It's an albatross for a telecom company who wants to expand its broadband and to keep up with the infrastructure.
You can't really deal with all that the albatross hanging around your neck because you don't have enough resources.
Yep. Go ahead.
No, I was trying to look at something.
You cannot, and that's one of the biggest reasons. And I think the bean counters or the accountants, whoever you want to call them at AT&T, was like, if we're going to extend our foothold in these places, because the U.S. government is going to basically tell these people, you need to make sure that broadband is in these areas, and I don't care if it's profitable or not, because that was what they were doing. Right. We just now had, so not to get into politics, so to speak, but we know that Vice President Kamala Harris is in charge of the implementation. Thank you, of broadband nationwide.
Yeah, sure.
We know that our state senator, House Rep Clyburn, is working on getting broadband to different areas. He just had something. We had a news story about, was it Allendale County,
Probably,
in the upstate?
yeah.
That was a big deal.
Yeah.
Ken from Chicago was right. This is spot on. The telecoms are dragging and kicking to develop broadband, to lower broadband speeds, lobby states to block municipal fiber optic. They're in a fight. Fiber is coming.
Yeah.
And they have to upgrade to 5G. We already see the commercials, 5G, 5G, 5G from Verizon. What is AT&T doing? I do not know.
When I see cell phone commercials, I really, and granted, I don't
watch
know
a lot
enough.
of TV, yeah.
Right. But I feel like I never really see AT&T talking about 5G
There you
for
go.
their cell phone. I see it for Verizon.
There you go.
I even see it for, what's the pink one?
Virgin Mobile?
Maybe.
T-Mobile and Virgin?
Maybe.
They're,
I don't know if they have 5G, but I feel like they're always talking about
There you go.
their G stuff or whatever.
you know why you don't see them? Because they're too busy running damn HBO Max commercials trying to get you to sign up.
That's true.
And that was one of the biggest things. COVID really took the wind out of their sails, because AT&T's plan all along before COVID, under the Trump administration, abolished net neutrality, buy this company, and then push your product on your telecom service and slow everybody else down, and then jank them like they did Netflix, because AT&T, go look it up, has already been caught slowing down internet for certain companies. They already got caught doing this. This ain't something new that they just thought of. They knew if they got rid of net neutrality, the idea that the internet should be free, and so if you're a mom and pop, you should have the same access to somebody if you are Amazon. AT&T helped try to get rid of net neutrality because they had Warner Media, because they knew if we could get rid of net neutrality, you have to use this service, and it works perfectly. Hell, it works better because we will boost it. And then they would turn the internet down on everything else who didn't pay that tax. And that is why I'm glad this happened.
Ryan Porter, you may have told us before, where are you at? Because Ryan Porter says my city has signed a deal to be a beta test city for Amazon satellite service. We go live next year. What city is that?
Ooh. And Ray Shaw Kane says this is where Elon Musk's Starlink satellite internet comes in to save the day. I will never put Elon Musk and save the day in the same sentence, because Elon Musk is about making money. He's not the second richest man in the world because he's doing this out of the kindness of his heart for us. What did Ken from Chicago says? AT&T trying to sell Warner Brothers because they wanted to be more than dumb pipes, but they ticked off Hollywood, and that's the other part of it. Ken from Chicago brings up another good point.
Yeah.
So the two CEOs worked this deal out and had been working on it for, as you said, for a while. The CEO of Warner Media wasn't even involved in this deal. He found out about it when everybody else did.
So wait, which CEOs are we talking
That's the CEO of Warner Media. His name is Kislev. Hold on, because I want to get Jason Kilar. I know it was a K in there. Reason why this is big. Kilar is the person who's responsible for, guess what? The day and date that pissed off everybody. He is not involved in this deal, and he is not in the transition from AT&T, Warner Media to Discovery. He is now negotiating with his lawyers and his legal team to make an exit for himself and be paid.
Sure.
Kozlov said, we hope that there is something available for him in this new deal. But he's like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Because you didn't even involve me. I'm the Think about that for a second. You're the CEO of a Warner Media, and you didn't know this deal was going on.
Yeah.
That means your ass about to be out of a job.
I mean, it is. Yeah, you are not. They don't consider you
necessary.
Necessary. Yeah.
He was not in the room when it happened.
He was not in the room when it happened.
But this is the thing that really is interesting, what a lot of people kind of need to pay attention to, and where we have to be and hold them accountable is, as fans, we cannot jump on and harass people for things, because I saw it earlier, and you're right. AT&T, Warner Media, did a lot of things wrong. The way they handled some of these deals.
Sure.
Jason Kilar is the reason why this day and date thing caused so many problems, because he just
So you're
announced
saying
it.
Christopher Nolan is mad at Warner Media because of Jason Kilar? Indirectly.
And Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah.
A lot of people are mad at Jason Kilar for that reason. But here's the other thing. Jason Kilar was the CEO of Warner Media when guess what else was going on? The Snyderverse controversy.
Sure.
Getting rid of Ava DuVernay's in the Trench movie. Ava DuVernay was going to do New Gods. There was it Justin Lin, or
James Wan.
James Wan. Thank you.
I think he was executive producing it.
Was
the
executive
Trench
producing the Trench, and that got killed.
Yeah.
Here's where fans need to not be these people, because you're going to see it. The Snyderverse people are going to show back up.
I think Brian Gamer brought that up.
Yes. I couldn't remember who it was.
I think it was Brian Gamer or somebody. If it was
We're
Brian,
going to see those people show up again because they believe they have an opportunity
sure
to get their universe done.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where we have to be fans who are smart and read the tea leaves and see exactly what this deal means for us as fans.
Yeah.
And we have to act responsibly with our dollars.
Yeah.
And this is where it's hard because we want all of the things.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not getting what you want, then you have to vote with your dollars.
Right.
And this is where if you do not like this deal, or you don't like what you see what's coming down the pipe, then you say, I'm not going to participate in your service.
Mm-hmm.
The Snyderverse people are going to have an opportunity because it's going to be a whole new regime that they're going to scream, mad, kick, fight, curse, whatever. I posit, don't do that. Let's see how this shakes out. Because right now, we have seen with this new deal, we're getting a new Batman cartoon produced by Bruce. Bruce Timm's going to be involved.
Yeah.
We're going to get a new Superman cartoon with him, Lois Lane, and Jimmy Olsen in his 20s.
Because it's the guy we like from The Boys, right?
Yes. I can't remember what his name is, but
Can't
yeah, I
remember
know
his name.
Also,
Jack Quaid. Is it Jack Quaid?
yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
There we go.
So we've gotten those two items. We know that we're going to get more. So I think, was it the Titans season 3 or which shows the Batgirl movie has the directors from Bad Boys for Life. That's going to be on HBO Max. Kim from Chicago, I'm upset as well, but there's no Wonder Woman cartoon. Hopefully they have realized their mistake and they're still working.
They'll figure that out.
We hope, but
Yeah.
let's be honest. Do you have much confidence in these people?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I do not. Because when they were doing their entire DCAU animated universe, Wonder Woman didn't have her own show. She was an afterthought in the Justice League.
True.
And then she finally got other movies as the universe built up. But if you have a trinity, Wonder Woman needs her own show, especially in this day and age when we know her stuff will sell.
I wanted to look something up because somebody said Dennis Quaid, not Randy Quaid, Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid.
Jack Quaid is the son of Dennis Quaid. Somebody said he was the son of Randy Quaid.
Yeah,
Dennis,
you're right.
Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, Randy Quaid is a little off.
Man, he was great in Independence Day.
Best movie.
And
Vacation.
Yeah, the vacation movies. Yeah.
The thing is clogged or whatever.
Yeah.
So 49ers fan, how do you see Shazam being affected by this deal? Also, what about the Arrowverse? For right now, things are going to keep going with things that have already been done.
Sure.
So Arrowverse, CW, Batwoman, those things are going to keep going. The question is, was AT&T holding the purse strings, which wasn't allowing them to experiment? Was it AT&T who killed those other deals, those movies, or was it Warner Media? Was it Jason Kilar? In other words, we don't know where that shakes out. And over the months and years, we're going to find out more information as more stuff is leaked. We're going to find out who was in charge of what. But I would like to see Warner Media develop more things. They're talking about an Arkham series with Ben Affleck. There's a lot of stuff going on right now.
Ben Affleck gonna come back?
That's one of the one.
I feel like these are just rumors now. People are saying
some of
Sure.
it, some of it is rumors, but some of it does have a little bit of meat behind it because the Snyderverse has been released overseas, and it has gotten some great numbers from other streaming in other countries. One of them being, guess where? China. So I'm not going to tell you that this is going to happen. We're going to get this. We're going to get that. I don't know. What I'm saying is we need to be patient and we need to be vigilant because we need to be able to say this is a good deal, this is a bad deal. Because at the end of the day, these are companies who are trying to make money, trying to separate us from our money. And we need to be responsible with how we vote with our dollars. And I'm gonna be honest with you, AT&T was not a good shepherd or owner of Warner Media. They did some things right, they did a lot of things wrong. Because Warner Media, under the tutelage of AT&T or under the umbrella of AT&T, let Joss Whedon run amok and knew he was acting that way and kept him around and defended him against their own actors. And we see the result of that handiwork.
What I want to know is, under a new group, will old accusations get more? Will new investigations happen under old accusations? I.e., are they going to look at the Ray Fisher stuff again if Discovery ends up buying Warner Media? Are they just going to be like, nah, we're just going to wash our hands and just start over?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. It would be nice if people say in these deals, we're not going to work with you until you get your act right. But we know that none of this stuff happens in a vacuum. We just had some training this week about how the news business has changed.
Sure.
How we're doing stories differently. We can honestly say we have had bad bosses. We have had bosses that did not handle management. Their management style was not the greatest. And
I'm not saying anything.
I'm not saying here. I'm just saying in general.
Sure, okay.
In life, we've had bad bosses.
Sure.
The news media, in itself, has recognized its blind spots and its bosses and how they have handled things. I don't know if they're going to have that moment that the news industry, at least our company, is having right now, with inclusion, with power, with privilege, and recognizing those things and explaining to the company, this is how we need to be going forward. I don't know what that means for Warner Media because of unions, contracts, independent contractors, artists. I don't know what that means. It would be nice if Warner Media said, hey, when we're going in with Discovery, let's have this discussion about how we're going to treat our employees. But I'll be honest with you, we don't know how that's going to work. They're going to wipe the slate clean or look the other way because let's be honest, Hollywood looked the other way for a number of decades.
Some would argue they may still be doing it.
Some would argue they're still doing that. Zayla Maru brings up a good point. Depends on if Walter Hamada stays on or not. Walter Hamada was in charge and defended Warner Brothers.
Defended the investigation. It's interesting now though that what Whedon has kind of resigned or pulled away from all the projects he was working on for HBO and Warner overall. So it is like, I don't know what's going on with him, but I wonder if Warner is trying to clean house on their own accord to be like, okay, let's try and work on something else. Because I am curious about this Cyborg movie and what's going to happen with it, if it's still going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I mean, maybe they get somebody else. And then you wonder, is another black actor going to be like, nah, I'm not going to step into this role that you didn't give to Ray Fisher. That would be interesting.
Well, it's going to be interesting.
Maybe give it to Tyrese. He needs a job. Tyrese always says he wants a job.
I almost murdered you on camera.
Tyrese always says he wants a job.
I had to remember we're live and I can't strangle you with an XLR cable.
Just saying, Tyrese says he always wants a job.
Because unlike some people, I will get convicted.
Just saying.
But it's interesting you bring that up because I honestly don't know. And that's why I said it's a very big change of landscape going forward because guess what else is in this deal that matters to us? CNN is in this deal. And Poppy Harlow, when she did the interview with the two CEOs, she said AT&T was a good steward for us. They allowed us to have they allowed us to have editorial news control and never interfered.
Sure.
When she asked Zaslav that, he danced around the issue. He never flat out said, you will be able to be your own entity. So, and that was a clear sign, and I was like,
and I didn't know if we were going to talk about this now. We can talk about it for a quick second and jump back to this. But when you talk about having independent and separate control from like editorial decisions in the newsroom versus like advertising, that brings up the incident that happened with IGN.
Yep.
Long story short,
not just IGN, Chris and Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of them because that's more like pop culture stuff, as
Okay.
whatever. If you don't know, IGN last week kind of actually, for those who look at video game websites, IGN, I don't know if you noticed, but they've changed in the past 3 or 4 years, really, in terms of how they cover stuff. Yeah,
they've had to.
With all, especially after George Floyd and all these Black Lives Matter protests and then these protests for social justice, IGN has definitely has become more political than it has in the past.
More inclusive, yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to say that's partially due to the employees not standing for the stuff that happened to them before, because you have mentioned that a lot of employees in the past had left and had talked about harassment, sexual harassment, assault that happened under management that was operating and running IGN.
Right. So I say all that to say they've kind of changed, become more political on certain things. Last week, they had an article about how people could donate to help Palestinian children who were victims of the...
through no fault of their own.
Yeah. Whatever side you are on, all IGN people are saying is help these children. Who they don't have a side. They're just getting bombed.
Trying to go to school, and you're like, oh, that's happening today.
That article came down and nobody knew what happened. People at IGN were asking management staff, the CEO, I think, of IGN, Pierre Schneider, they were asking him, yo, what's going on? Why'd you take this down? And he couldn't answer questions. I feel kind of bad for the dude because it seems like this was coming above his head and he's like, it came down.
I'm sorry.
He couldn't answer.
I'd have been like, you know what? Here's a number you can call, and because I would have definitely I'm not taking hits for you.
Yeah, it's but he couldn't really answer the questions. And you know what? I haven't seen if they ever had the resolution about the meeting they wanted with Ziff Davis and the other parent company,
J2,
something like that. But anyway, they couldn't get their questions answered, so they sent out a letter
through Medium.
Yeah, through Medium. Kind of a call to action, asking for a sit-down meeting with the IGN management as well as the parent company of IGN, which is Ziff Davis and
J2 Group.
The
J2
to kind of explain why they took this article down. Again, they weren't trying to be political; they just wanted to help these kids. Yeah. And I don't know where that is. I don't know if they got the meeting or not. I say all that to say that's just a pop culture example of editorial influence versus advertising influence and all that kind of stuff.
Because this is the one thing that we have had here, and just to give you an idea, we work for WLTX. WLTX is a part of the Tegna. Is it the Tegna group or is it just Tegna? Tegna. That is our parent company. If we look at our checks, that's who it says. It's Tegna. Management has never told us what we can and can't say, and as it results in what we broadcast, what we cover. They have never been like, you can't cover that story. They have literally given us full editorial control and basically been like, look, Negroes, don't mess this up. That's pretty much.
They didn't say those words.
I mean, but basically that's kind of. They didn't say those words, but they kind of looked at us and gave us like,
yeah,
don't be those people.
Yeah.
So I say that in this deal, AT&T was supposedly a good steward, a good shepherd for CNN. We don't know what AT&T told Warner Media and the Discovery Group what you can do with CNN going forward.
Yeah.
And that changes a lot of things because CNN is supposed to be an impartial journalistic entity. How does that change under this new umbrella?
Yeah.
How does that change? Because we just talked about, for us, how we talked about why these stories like Epic versus Apple, the Sony lawsuit, class action about the monopoly, why that stuff is rarely covered by major mainstream media.
Right.
We don't know if that could be an edict that says, hey, we're going to make news for everybody, or they're going to be like, we're going to stay political and we're now going to be opinionated.
Yeah.
We don't know how that's going to happen, what that down the line is. And again, we don't know what goes going to happen with, let's be honest, we talk about the Warner Media Group. Guess what else Warner Media owns? DC.
Yeah.
And there's an article right now, I want to say, on the Hollywood Reporter that says DC has weathered different ownerships in the past, but we don't know what that ownership in the future is going to look like.
Right.
When it comes to printing books with expensive paper and a new coming out of a pandemic, that they could make a shift and say, hey, let's push the digital.
Right.
And because right now comics are selling nowhere close to where they were in the 90s. The X-Men comic, I want to say, sold 5 million copies. You'll be lucky if a book sells 100,000 copies.
Sure.
So that's where we're at right now. That's why I say this deal is a huge monumental thing, because it doesn't just affect our nerd stuff. It affects and has tentacles everywhere. So here's Ken from Chicago brings up, what's going to happen to Warner Brother WB Games?
They've been talking about splitting them up for a while, because there were, at one point people thought that Microsoft was going to buy that. Mm-hmm. That didn't happen. They ended up buying ZeniMax. So who knows? I am curious. Well, I kind of wanted to hit on this Snake Eyes thing, because a lot of people were talking about Snake Eyes. You guys will notice we didn't do a Snake Eyes reaction because we just didn't.
It was a minute.
And
I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm a G.I. Joe fan. I own the toys. I bought the deluxe Cobra Commander that's 6 inches. I don't know, man.
I don't hate it. I was just like,
to me, this is 10 years too late.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, I'm tired of companies making their movie franchise centered around their most popular character when it shouldn't be their most popular character. Like
you want them to reboot the whole G.I. Joe franchise.
I want to see G.I. Joe. Snake Eyes should be a part of it. Mm-hmm. Just like I hope the X-Men don't just give us Wolverine coming out the gate. Wolverine and the X-Men. I don't want that. Mm-hmm. It is the X-Men. Mm-hmm. Wolverine wouldn't exist without the X-Men. Mm-hmm. Wolverine wouldn't be a thing without them. And so give me all of them.
The only thing the thing that kind of got me excited for the Snake Eyes teaser is that Andrew Koji is playing Storm Shadow.
Yeah, from Warrior.
Yes, from Warrior. I'm excited because he's in it. So I'm hoping that means the martial arts are going to be really good. The choreography is going to be nice. So yeah.
49er fan says, how long till there are 2 companies fighting over main control of all the networks? Here's the thing.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen, but this is what I will say. You're going to see a big consolidation, and there's going to be, like there was an ABC, an NBC, a CBS, and then a Fox.
Yeah.
You're going to see streaming services reduced to maybe 5 or 6 huge companies. Mm. And because right now, the last movie studio, one of the grand movie studios, MGM, Metro Golden
Mayer, I think.
The one with the lion.
Yeah.
Guess who's looking to buy them? Lex Luthor.
Amazon?
Yep.
Why'd I know that when you said that?
Because you know what Jeff Bezos is. A walking, talking Lex Luthor.
I'm pretty sure MGM had filed for bankruptcy at one point. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like why they had lost the bond license and it went to Sony, I believe.
No, they still have the bond license.
MGM does?
Yep. Guess what's funny? They only own half of it because the Broccoli family owns the other half.
Oh, okay.
Yep. But they do own the Rocky, Creed movies, Mission Impossible, I believe.
No, not MGM.
Not MGM.
That's Paramount.
Paramount owns that, but there's something else that they own. That's why I said you're going to see consolidation with everybody gobbling up every little bit.
Ken from Chicago, I guess he was talking to a 49er fan. Disney and question mark. I guess who would Disney pair up with?
Then Disney doesn't pair. This is the thing. Disney doesn't pair with anybody.
Well,
Disney
when I
buys.
say pair, I guess I mean who do you think Disney would buy? Would they buy? Was there anybody left for them to buy?
Yeah, Sony.
You think Disney would buy Sony?
Yeah.
Like Sony Entertainment.
So Disney could buy Sony. I'm gonna tell you right now, if the COVID hadn't happened, Disney's fat ass probably, I'm hungry. Because think about what you get if you bought Sony. You got an entire base of people on one of these things.
Sure.
And like, are you crazy? You can you imagine the bloatware a PlayStation would come with?
Yeah.
I think that
Why do I keep saying Mission Impossible with MGM? Because Ken from Chicago said that too. I was like, I don't say right.
I want to say, but it might be one of those things where they make it in conjunction. Because Bad Robot is its own company that makes stuff in conjunction with. I know Paramount, Mission Impossible, and Paramount, but I wonder if they make it together.
Wikipedia says its production companies are Bad Robot and Skydance, distributed by Paramount.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. COVID disrupted every plan anybody had. If you had a plan, COVID basically said, "No, you don't."
Yeah.
And
Quibi.
So, and guess
What's Quibi now? Roku.
Roku.
Yeah.
Quibi's on about all of that content. If you had a plan, COVID kicked it and beat it down and walked out with blood on its knuckles. It's like that meme of the Doors where the death is just going through and there's just this murdered. That's what COVID did, because everybody has had to shift everything to combat and to basically survive. Every time something like this happens, a societal change, a war, a pandemic, life itself does not go back to normal.
Right.
Everyone must adapt. Take something as simple as, and when I say simple, I mean compared to a global pandemic. The writer's strike. The first writer's strike in the 80s gave us, guess what? Reality TV again. It gave us Cops.
Okay.
Because they needed shows that did not use the union.
Right.
So that right there, and so COVID changed how we shoot movies. COVID changed how we do television. COVID changed how we view television. Right now, Amazon used to drop their television shows in one, let you binge it. And then they stopped. They said, we'll give you 3 episodes, and then every Friday you can watch it, or Thursday. That changed a lot of things.
Sure.
It sped up some of these movie theaters' demise, as Ken from Chicago says. But let me tell you what: if you're a movie theater and you're still able to operate in the next couple of months when these summer movies comes out, you're going to see a boom in business.
Sure.
Because everybody who's vaccinated who wants to get out of the house, they're looking for a connection. They're looking for something to see.
Even those who aren't vaccinated are going to want to get out of the house.
That is true. You make a very good point.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very interesting time coming out of this pandemic, because keep in mind, we're still in it. So this deal is setting themselves up for the future, but this is a future that's very uncertain, because we know we have streaming, we know we have movie theaters, and we know we still have terrestrial television.
In your mind, do you think the deal goes through?
I think this deal has a better chance of going through because there are enough contingencies, and AT&T learned their lesson the last time. I think they like this deal because it doesn't have the regulations or the warning signs that would get the government involved to shut it down. Because that was a very dangerous thing to have a telecom service in charge of a movie studio and then directly trying to disrupt how the internet is distributed to everybody for their own, basically, movie studio. You don't have that anymore. AT&T is going back to a regular telecom, regular evil telecom company, and the movie studio is going to go back to being a movie studio.
Just a quick poll in the chat: how many of you have been back to the movie theaters, like this year, if at all? I'm just curious.
Not unless it's in Target.
Yeah, I mean, because the last movie
Target or
I saw
Costco. That's the only place
was
I'm going.
I saw Godzilla in theaters.
You did?
Yeah, remember I got the theater.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yep.
It was that long ago. I forgot. Ken from Chicago says also first time since 2019 summer movies actually in summer months, not May or April. The one thing I was hoping COVID did with movie theaters is made that first week not so important. Yeah. I was hoping COVID allowed movie studios to renegotiate with movie studios to keep their movies in theaters longer. I wanted us to go back to when, and it wasn't that long ago if you think about it, when Titanic was in the movie theater.
Forever?
Or Avatar. Mm-hmm. And the first week of the box office was not, oh my gosh. Because to me that doesn't allow for so many movies to build up an audience. Sure. It automatically goes from movie theater straight to the streaming service, and then you don't get that opportunity of word of mouth to go watch something in the movie theater. Robin Riddle, that's the last movie I saw in the movie theaters, Tenet. Because I definitely didn't go see Wonder Woman, and I'm glad I did.
That was a good call. You might have burned that theater down.
Whew. Although that gold outfit was cool as hell. I bought an action figure because of that.
How do you see Black Widow doing in movie theaters? I think Black Widow will do okay. I think
it'll do Ant-Man numbers.
I think it'll do okay, and I think Disney will have the media push and propaganda arm to make it be like, yeah, it was good. It did exactly what we needed it to do. Mm-hmm. Just because I plan to go to the movies to see Black Widow. I want to see it on a big screen.
I want to see it because I don't plan because this is my thing. I'm not paying $30 to see it at home.
That's true.
Not unless you plan to send me a physical copy and a VHS copy of it.
Yeah.
I don't just want a 4K. I pay $30 to see Black Widow day and date. I want a VHS copy of it.
We're going back to give you lower quality.
I want a 4K and a VHS copy of it.
Okay, great.
And I want a cassette of the soundtrack.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay. But yeah, I think Black Widow will do fine. I think it'll probably make money from streaming.
The question, we'll never know how much because they never release those numbers.
Yeah. They said that this Premiere Plus system has worked for them. That's why. And
it ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for Raya. I guess that's next month when it'll finally be on just regular Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Because it came out in March, so that's about 3 months, right? March, April.
Oh, that's the window?
I think it's like 3 months is about what it is before you could probably watch it regularly.
If they make it an 8-track, I'd buy it. I would.
I'm surprised you wouldn't get like the vinyl of it.
It depends on how good it is.
Okay.
I do own a lot of vinyl sound. Like I own Into the Spider-Verse soundtrack, Death Stranding soundtrack on vinyl. Because man, that is a great soundtrack. Me and Evan used to listen to it at 3 a.m. in the morning when he used to get up at night, and I used to feed him.
That's cute.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'll probably see Black Widow in the theater. But I think Disney has to release it.
Because, at this point, yeah.
Because they have to kick off their next phase. And I think that is crucial for it.
The longer they wait, the less relevant it's becoming for sure. Mm-hmm. Friend of the show, Whitney Sullivan, who loves the Marvel movies, has said, and who likes Black Widow, has said she don't care about the movie anymore. I was like, man, that's
trying to tell y'all.
Yeah.
And because they want and I will say this, as evil as Disney can be at times, they are still committed to the movie theater experience.
Yeah.
Because they could easily say, day and date Disney, which they have, and they haven't. They have still committed to the theatrical experience, which a lot of other companies have as well. Mm-hmm. I just know that they're ready for it to get back to normal. Well, let me take that back because we need to stop saying that. They want it to get back to some type of normalcy so that they can get their movies out. Because I don't know what they have planned, but I know they want another Endgame.
Sure.
I know they want another Infinity War.
Yeah. $2 billion. Yeah, they want another $2 billion. Yeah.
Shoot, because I know one thing. They want movie theaters to be open when Black Panther 2 comes out. Mm-hmm. And Spider-Man, Home Alone.
On that, we're gonna wrap up so I can
Hold
finish
on,
up
there
this.
was a
11.
question.
No, we're done.
No, it was what it was about Gears of War. Do you see, not to change the subject, do you see Gears of War being any good after Army of the Dead Snyder Cut came out? I hadn't watched Army of the Dead yet. I'm gonna watch that tonight. I think Gears of War. I think Gears of War is going to be. I think Gears of War is going to be the magnum opus of this franchise. I think Gears of War 6 is going to be the biggest Gears. Because I think Gears 6 is not going to be a cross-gen game. And I think the reason why they have not announced, they have not said anything, is because Gears is going to take advantage of every opportunity that next-gen console has, and they're going to learn the mistakes that, not Bungie, 343?
I don't know. I don't know what studio you're talking about.
The studio that's making Halo.
Halo stuff? 343.
Yeah, 343.
Yeah.
I think they're going to make every decision the opposite of what they did. And combined with that movie, I think Gears of War is set up to be the next big thing. Because I think that is the one thing people like is known commodities. And Gears has slowly, the last 2 games have been better than I think the first 2 franchises been, and I think it's the last one, and I would really like to see them step it up with how good that game could be, and especially when we see how good Outriders is.
Yeah,
I think Gears is setting itself up to be the next big thing. And
49er fan, our Twitter is News19Nerds.
Yep.
Right? I don't know. You're on the chat. Let them know. I think it is. We don't know.
We need to use it.
Might be.
I need to put some stuff on it.
But yeah, wrap up.
But yeah, that's what we think about Gears of War. I really, what got you through the week?
Still playing Mafia 3. Finished up Schitt's Creek. That was a really good show. Enjoyed it a lot. And Empire Sin still. I started started again trying to watch Money Heist. Because every time I start, I get like four or 5 episodes in and I fall off. I'm finally watching it. I'm in season 2, enjoying that show a lot. So Mafia 3 and Money Heist probably the big things. What about you?
I was just reading. For me, it was Mayor of Easttown. HBO Max is killing the game when it comes to detective shows. That show was one of the. I'm going to be honest with you. I hadn't watched a show that good since, with black people, racism, monsters.
Lovecraft?
Yes.
Country? Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't seen a good show like that since then.
Okay.
Mayor of Easttown.
Hey, 49er fan, tell your friends. We do this every Friday.
We try. Yeah.
Most of the time.
Provided the world isn't on fire.
Yeah, about 9 o'clock.
Mayor of Easttown is amazing. And Warframe. I leveled up finally.
Okay.
I was getting my ass kicked for a while in that game. Just leveling up. But I finally leveled up. No, not them. I refuse to see that. I refuse to see them. Avery and Lauren watched it, and I warned them not to, and now they have nightmares. And good for them, because I told them not to. But Mayor of Easttown is great. I will say this, though. Man, white people are crazy. Woo! That show, man. Michael, you need to watch it, because they do some stuff on there I really have never seen before. I'm talking trash to cops. I'm talking, woo!
Hey, stop talking. We gotta go.
Hey, man, I miss these people.
Okay. Well, you gonna shut it off then?
Shut you off.
Okay.
All right, guys, stay safe. IMAX, I hope everybody in your family's doing okay. I know you had a family tragedy last week. Guys, wash your hands. Stay safe. Did I already say stay safe?
You want to say it twice?
Okay. We out. Peace.